man. You say he came to die for the sins of the world. Look at it, at that eventful, that on the verge of that Good Friday, on the Thursday. He takes his disciples to that upper room, and they're having the supper. And at the supper table, he's telling them, he says, you remember, when I sent you out on your mission of preaching and healing, I told you that you must carry nothing with you. No papers, no shoes, no staff, no stick. Did you lack anything? He says, no, we lack nothing. He says, but now I tell you, those of you who have no swords must sell your garments and buy them. Swords, to chop off people's heads. Swords. He's telling them to buy swords. So one of them said, Master, we have 2 already. So he says, this is enough. Why should 2 swords be enough? What do you want to do with swords? Paring apples? Bananas? What do you do with swords? Chop off people's heads. And he's telling you in the Gospel of St. Luke, chapter 19, verse 27, he said, for those my enemies who would not that I should reign over them, I would become the ruler, the king. He says, bring them hither and slay them before me. With what? With your fingers? What do you slay them with? Bring them hither and slay them before me. Cut their throats. If those of you who are not prepared to accept me as your king, bring them and kill them. So now he's telling them, arm themselves, and they arm themselves to the limit. And he takes them to the Garden of Gethsemane. I said, what for? To pray? I said, couldn't he have prayed in that upper room? Couldn't he have gone to the temple of Jerusalem, a stone's throw from where he was? Couldn't he have done that? Why Gethsemane? I said, look, there is a strategy involved. When he takes his disciples to Gethsemane, in the middle of the night, not for prayer, he puts 8 men at the gate. He says, tarry here and watch with me. And he takes with him Peter and the 2 sons of Zebedee, those fighting Irishmen of the time. Peter the rock and the sons of Zebedee, they call sons of thunder. This is the title given to them. Fighting Irishmen of their time among the Jews. He takes them further into the garden, and he makes an inner line of defense. And he says, sit ye here and watch with me. Watch what? Means keep guard. And he went a little further and fell on his face and prayed to God. Said, oh my Father, if it be possible, let this cup pass away from me, meaning remove the difficulty from me, but not as I will, but as thou wilt. I want you, oh my Lord, I want you to save me. But in the end I put myself at your disposal. And being in an agony, he prayed more earnestly, and his sweat was as if it were great drops of blood falling down to the ground. What a choice. God Almighty has made a choice. There was a contract between father and son before the worlds began, says the Christian. Before the worlds began, there was a contract between father and son. He says, my son, I will send you into the world in the year 4000 after Adam. And I want you to die for the sins of mankind. It looks like Jesus didn't know anything about it. Look how he's behaving. 8 at the gate. You study here. Shoo, 3, come, follow me. Shh. You sit here. Is this how you prepare for suicide? Is this how you prepare for sacrifice? A willing sacrifice? You tell me. If you have ever served in the army at any time, or been with the scouts boys, or girl guides, you will be able to confirm that when you do things like that, you are preparing. It's a strategy of preparation. Not for death, but for protection. And swords, if the Jews were to come there, he says, I know my people. You see the spirit that the disciples were showing. They were beating the breast in that upper room. So, Master, we are prepared to go to prison for you. Master, we are prepared to die for you. Such people with sticks and stones and 2 swords, they would have knocked hells into the Jews. But the Jews were cleverer than what he thought. They bring Roman soldiers with them. The situation changes. Against trained men, what can you do? They'll be cut to pieces, your disciples. So Jesus says, put down your sword, because he who lives by the sword shall die by the sword. Didn't he know this before? He knew. But circumstances changes, and the man changes. He's a master strategist, but he had not come to die, and he had not died. As such, he was neither killed nor crucified. You see, all his actions, post-crucifixion action, supposed to be crucified. After every action, every move that he makes, the way he behaves, is that of a man who has escaped death by the skin of his teeth, not the one who has been resurrected. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Ahmedida.